Now, we've already talked about deja vu, we've talked about soul groups and soul recognition, right? And here's just another example of a little 8-month-old baby meeting someone from a past life. Now, this father, he is in the airport, his wife, and his 8-month-old baby. And while he's waiting for his wife to come out of the restroom, there is an elderly woman in a wheelchair waiting for the airline staff to assist her. Just watch.
So I think I met someone from my son's past life. I'm walking up and down the airport with my son, and I hear this. So I just assume it's someone that I know, so I'm turning around, and there's an elderly lady in her wheelchair, and she's sitting there, and I like lock eyes with her, and she's looking at me and she's waving. Then I like turn around to see if it's me that she's like waving down, and there's no one else around. So then I turn back to look at her, and she's like, "Yes, you come here." So I'm holding my baby, and I walk over to her. Tide's 8 months, by the way. And I walk over to her, and she she reaches out her hands, and she goes like this and grabs on to my son's hands, and she goes,
"Now, what would y'all have done? Would you have let that elderly woman touch your baby? Would you? Come on, be honest now. You know how y'all be acting."
"It's been so long." And then my son, he's a very active baby. He's very like fraily. He's always kicking his legs. He's always waving his arms. He's always just like smiley, very happy-go-lucky baby. And as soon as she grabs his hands, he's just still. He's like quiet like this, and he's just staring at her. And they're staring at each other. And then she goes, "You've chosen the best mum and the best dad." And then the air hostess came out of the plane and grabbed the back of the wheelchair, and she's like, "Oh, is there anyone here to pick you up from the airport?" And she starts wheeling the lady off, and the lady's still holding on to my son's hands. This all happened so quick, by the way. And she's like wheeling the lady out, and then she lets go of Tide's hands, and she turns back around and she looks at him and goes, "You're gonna grow up and be the most beautiful young man." And then she's like getting pushed off on a wheelchair, and I'm just holding my son, and I'm like, what the heck just happened? And I'm looking at him, and he's still like staring at her. She's getting welded off. And then Alice was in the toilet while all of this happened. I walk back to her. She's out of the toilet at this point, and she's like, "Oh my God, where did you go?" And I explained what had just happened. She's like, "What's her name? Where did she go? We need to go talk to her." And I'm like, "I don't know, she just disappeared." The air hostess wheeled her out of the airport. But yeah, I don't know. I think Tide definitely knew who she was, or she definitely knew who Tide was, because yeah, that was so interesting.
Now, what do y'all think? Okay. Now, notice that he said that his little son, he's a squirmer. He cannot keep still. Okay. And one thing that I know about babies, having raised, 2 of them myself, babies know energy. And if you got some low vibrating toxic energy on you, babies are not going to tolerate that. Because they just came back from the presence of source. Well, they on top of their game, trust and believe. But he recognized that woman, and that woman recognized him. That's why he wasn't fussing or, doing anything like that. Even the father was picking up on that energy too. And I love the fact that she told the little boy that, you've picked a wonderful mother and father. How does she know that? How does she know that, y'all? How does she know that? I think this is such a great story, about soul recognition. Because it's like I've said and shared with you before, souls tend to travel in groups. And they play different roles in different lifetimes. I just think it's so cool that we get these glimpses, to let us know that you are not cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Yep, that's the same one that was in your lifetime a couple of 100 years ago. That's the same one. And you're good. I like it. These are heartwarming stories to me. And, for me, it just proves that reincarnation and past lives are a real thing. It's just a part of the evolution of the souls. And I was thinking that there's so many stories like this popping up, and I can remember 30 years ago, you didn't really hear about that. We didn't have the internet like we have it now. And if a child did say something like that, 9 times out of 10, an adult would tell that child to shut your mouth and go someplace and sit down or go outside and play, because they would always, just brush it off like the child was, saying nonsense. But I'm noticing there are so many stories like this popping up every day. Somebody is sharing something with me, because I feel that a part of this is happening now at this particular time because of the Great Awakening. And how cool is it to be an embodied soul, witnessing it right here, as opposed to being in the spiritual realm, just, looking like this, when you can actually be in the thick of things over here. This is an exciting time to be alive, y'all. So if you have decided that this is the time that you want to truly tap into who you truly are, find out what is going on in your current life that could have stemmed from your past life, recognize old patterns. Maybe you need a particular kind of healing, or other kinds of help, then you know where to find me. Y'all know where to find me. I am here to serve. All right.